y'all, I'm Derek and welcome to the YouTube Movie Review. So this is going to be like my 2 cents for the discount bin, but there's going to be different rules. So the rules are, 1, it must be a YouTube movie, meaning that it came out on YouTube and hasn't come out in theaters or on DVD. And 2, it must be available without membership. Basically, you don't have to buy YouTube Red or anything like that. So, let's get the show started. This movie is apparently notorious, and I've never heard of it before. A friend of mine told me, dude, you gotta check this out. It's called The Time Machine I Found at a Yard Sale. It's on YouTube. Go check it out. I've noticed that there's a bunch of other people who have reviewed this movie, so I'm not going to watch those until I see the movie itself, because I don't want it to taint any of the things that I say. Considering how many times this has been reacted to, it's kind of scary to me. So let's see how it's described on YouTube, and afterwards we'll see if it fits the description or not. The Time Machine I Found at a Yard Sale is a fond salute to the low-budget sci-fi pictures of the 1950s and 60s. Starring Johnny Gattias and Amy Henry, the picture was shot at 3K resolution using Red camera equipment for the astounding cost of $3,500. Uh-oh. If you have to put in your description, in order to fill out the description, how the film was shot and what the budget was, that's not a good sign that you're actually going to have a story. Because I have no idea what the story's about. Alright. Let's check it out. This was not a movie. It was moving pictures. I'll explain. Okay, let me just read some of the notes I took. I've got 5 pages of notes on this. Let's see. No freaking continuity. That's my second note. Every action is required, otherwise it doesn't exist. CGI looks more like Microsoft Paint. There's no emotion, none. It's like cold reading when you're first rehearsing. The transition is ridiculous. What the hell's with the green toilet? Goes from The Time Machine to Star Wars in plot. Plot in several Angry Bunny years. Those are just some of the notes I have. Okay, so if y'all want to know, when I watch movies for this, I have a notepad with me, and I just jot down the first thing that comes to my mind at certain points. But most of the time, I also write out the plot, so that I can actually keep up with the plot while I'm talking. There's no plot in this movie. Ah! No plot! At all! I'm sorry. It's been a long time since a movie pissed me off this much. Let me just say, Manos, The Hands of Fate had more of a plot than this movie. So it starts off with the most annoying title sequence I have ever seen. It is literally 1.5 minutes of a ticking clock. That's it. Not a good way to start off. And then it has this guy who's dressed up like a 50s greaser guy go to a yard sale out of nowhere, and how does he know there's a yard sale? How? There's no signs, the house is far off the street, and it's not like it's being presented as a yard sale. He could just be airing out his silver. That's what it looks like. And I know what they were trying to do. They were trying to go for the man holding the yard sale being actually the character as an older man selling himself the time machine. But that was just too freaking complicated. And every single action is presented on camera. Okay, so I know films are supposed to show, not tell, but every now and again you can tell us something. There is an entire minute of a man drinking juice. That's it. He's staring this way and he's drinking juice. What is that supposed to tell us as the audience? He likes the juice? Is he thinking hard? I don't know. The guy can't act because he's not emoting anything. So he buys this time machine at a yard sale. He takes it home, realizes, oh, I can go forward in time. And then he says in voiceover that he took it back to his place to grab some things and then go to Hollywood Boulevard. Well, then where was he when he drank the juice? Apparently, that wasn't his house. Did he just break into a random person's house and steal their orange juice? You know, orange juice is not cheap. And then apparently this movie is nothing but walk cycles, because there's nothing but walking in this movie. Usually from one side of the screen to the other side of the screen, or every now and again from this side of the screen to this side of the screen. That's action. Time somebody was walking across the screen, I started singing Walk of Shame by Pink. I managed to sing that song at least 4 times during this movie. 4 times, all the way through. We're walking, we're walking, we're walking. Also, whenever they deliver any dialogue, it's always just like this. Right in front of the camera. Looking straight into the camera. Okay, there are some times when you can't do that. When it's supposed to be a dialogue between the character on screen and the audience. It's taken from theater. It's a soliloquy. When you're actually talking to another character on screen and then you just show the one person on camera talking to the audience, it makes no sense. This is a stylistic point, I know, but it makes no damn sense. If they are talking to each other on screen, there's no action other than them talking, and they say the same thing 3 or 4 times just to pad out this movie. He takes a time machine to 10,000 years in the future, and he apparently runs across the tribe of the one-eyed, one-horned, flying purple people eaters, all picking berries in the middle of frickin' Hollywood Park. I don't know. And he falls in love with one of them, apparently. That is explained later on. He takes her farther into the future, where they find a spaceship just hanging around. And they decide to take it, even though they don't know how to operate it, and they're just zooming through the galaxy. And I shouldn't say zooming, they're actually going... This movie is so tedious. It's painful. In fact, right here in my notes, I wrote, "Arg, this is painful." I actually wrote arg, not arg. They take the ship, they go to one planet, they go into a cave, and apparently there's a sex scene, I don't know. All that happens is they go into a cave which looks like it's the frickin' Big Rock Candy Mountain with water, and they start talking to each other, and then they just disappear from the screen for like 30 seconds, and then it shows up with the girl combing her hair. So I'm guessing that's supposed to be a sex scene. And during this entire time, all they're doing is talking in plot exposition. It is a massive plot dump, and it is so boring because I don't care about these characters. Why should I care about their story? These are things you need to think of when you're making movies. Start with the characters, make them engaging, give them a story and an arc so that they're better off than when they began the story. They go to a dinosaur planet and these dinosaurs look so freaking fake. First of all, they're terrible CGI. They don't move at all, but we're supposed to believe that they're alive. And they look like the cheap dinosaur toys that you would get at a carnival for like getting enough rings around a milk can and stuff like that. You know those games? It looked like one of those prizes. They jump to the place they're supposed to be, where they're supposed to meet a guy who knows about the resistance, because apparently there's a resistance too. And then there's a minute and a half of belly dance. Why? I don't know. It's not even very good belly dance. She's not even on rhythm. She's just doing it. It's like she was listening to it in her ear at a different speed than it was actually playing at, so she missed all the right bumps. I don't know. So they decide that they're going to help the resistance, and when they go do this other job on their way back to the ship's been bloated up. They don't explain why. I guess she forgot to turn the space oven off when she made the space sandwiches in their spaceship. I don't mean to come off angry. I just am. They just say, oh, the ship's gone. I guess we should resign ourselves to death. And they resign themselves to death until finally they remember, boy, I have a time machine in my backpack. They go back in time until they have the spaceship. They took the spaceship back to Earth. They went back in time to our heroes' modern time just so that the two characters could get married, apparently, and meet the hero's mother. Okay, so two people are on this side, two people are on this side, and they've left enough room in the middle for the Holy Spirit, the Holy Spirit's mother, and the Holy Spirit's racist grandpa who ruins Thanksgiving. I mean, there's so much space in between these characters, you don't believe that they are actually related. It's completely uncomfortable. So, and they go forward in time again, and apparently they find a treasure map on the ship, and the treasure map is such a stupid treasure map. It doesn't have any coordinates for a planet. It doesn't have any coordinates where you need to set down your ship. It just says, start here, walk here. And then when they're they look at behind them at the screen, at the green screen with the pictures, and they're like, well, this is where the map says we should be, so we need to go this way. It felt like that scene from Wayne's World when they're playing with blue screen. and Wayne just looks at the camera, goes, hello, I'm in Iowa. That's how believable it was. And it turns out they find some diamonds and sell it back to the leader of the resistance. They have money, they're just lounging on the beach, and they're like, well, we need to help the resistance, but we just got here. Oh, I know, but we need to help the resistance. All right, heads or tails? Oh man. And then cut. I said earlier that this is not a movie, it's a moving picture. There's a difference, okay? A moving picture is like a rotoscope, okay? You know, you spin pictures with a little bit of change really, really quickly, and it looks like the person's moving. There's no plot in it. It's just an optical illusion. A movie has a story. A movie is a way of evoking emotions. It's a way of telling a story. You tell it through the way you shoot the film. You tell it through the writing. You tell it through the way it's acted. It's a massive conglomeration of people working together to tell a story. This did not tell a story. And the fact that they have the gall to say that this is a heartfelt send-up to the low-rent sci-fi of the 50s and 60s is abhorrent, okay? Those movies were fun to watch. If you can tell, this movie was not fun to watch. Needless to say, I did not like this movie at all. So that's my thoughts on The Time Machine I Found at a Yard Sale. Are there any other movies on YouTube you'd like me to look at? If so, just drop me a message down below. Well, thanks for stopping by. Thanks for tuning in. And please do come back later for more. Bye.